Hey guys, I just wanted to try this out, or this recording way out, I should say. Usually you can see my ugly ass and my room and all that. But not really. You know what? There's a story behind that. And I'll probably get to that in another video. Uh, anyway, on to this. Paper tigers. This is basically just a quick article I found by mistake, and it goes on about just Asian people, Asians, and how good they can do on tests and so on. All kinds of other stuff. China, when Mao was 8 years old, his mother is. I don't know. This is a big thing. I forget the whole thing. This is one of the ones I was trying to work on. And it's basically just like schools, like the way they, with the affirmative action and all that, diversity steps and stuff like that. Let me see. Asian Americans scored high enough to earn a slot as somewhere Stuyvesant, along with 179 whites, 13 Hispanics, and 12 blacks. Such dramatic upper representation, and what it may be to read to them, to imply about the intellectual different groups of New Yorkers has a way of making people uneasy. But intrinsically, intelligence, of course, is precisely what Asians don't believe in. They believe they have the and have proved that constant practice and test taking will improve the scores of whoever commits to it. Honestly, yeah, I can believe that. Like let's be honest. It's like me. I'm really into fitness. Guess what? I'm not gonna get any fitter by just sitting around doing nothing. I want to learn to do the splits. I had talked to somebody I met who does yoga. I'm gonna try that sometime, and hopefully I can do it. I really gotta quit procrastinating on that though. But anyway, it just goes on about just diversity and blah blah blah. I don't want to make this one too long. Uh, okay, Americans who make up 12.6% of the New York City make up 72% of the high school. Keep in mind this is Asian Americans. Uh, yeah. So anyway, we're gonna skip past this. I'm gonna link everything, of course, in the video. Y'all know me. Here we go. To get into elite colleges, some advise to appear less Asian. And I found this because for those of you who remember, there was that kid from India who had to pretend to be black in order to get into a college and to get into law school. And you can find that as why I pretend to be black to get into law school or something like that. And I won't get into this kind of some BS. I don't know. I mostly just wanted the headline. As losses alleged racial quotas to elite colleges, high achieving applicants call the consultants to help win admissions and receive guidance on minimizing their ethnicity. I mean, think about that. You got to hide your race in order to have a chance to get into a college because, some law that says we have to make it to where other races are allowed to get in. That just seems more racist than anything to me. But anyway, race-blind admissions are affirmative actions for whites. I mean, just I don't even think I should get into this. I'm just honestly I'll post this in here, and it's obviously a real liberal view. But think about that. Just let that sink in. And who knows? This could be a satire one that I fell for and all that. I hope it is. But being race blind is racist and helps white people only. Then I'm sorry, but that kind of means you failed. Like, if by being race blind and by making things only on merit and somehow Asians and white people will succeed, then maybe that should say something about people such as myself who are Hispanic. Maybe that should say something about anyone else who's black. Or, whatever from, well, I guess anyone who's brown, or I guess I'll say olive skinned, like I guess from Iran and so on. Because honestly, if putting everybody on equal grounds is somehow racist and is so racist that it helps the white people, then maybe that should say something about the rest of our intelligence. And I realize, yes, people from Iraq and all that are considered Western Asian, but honestly, that right there, I'm not even going to get into that stupid shit. Income diversity in college admissions preserves racial diversity. Okay, fine. I'll say sort of. Let's be honest. As Hispanic, I could get a Pell Grant. For those of you who don't know what a Pell Grant means, basically what it means is I can go get a loan from the government, and it's something that it's free for me. I don't ever have to pay them back. As for most white people I know who are in debt because they have to go get a loan. Basically, the Pell Grant is obviously like, in what kind of what it sounds like. You get a freaking bucket. There's a certain amount of money in there, and they'll pay for a certain amount of people they can. You don't have to pay anything. White people, however, don't get such thing because they're white. Keep in mind, I'm saying I'm brown. So thus, that's something that, blacks can get. I'm sure, I think Indian people get that automatically. Get free school grant if they actually attend, graduate, they actually, get decent grades and so on. But anyway, I'll leave this here too. Race countries and affirmative action programs and college admissions have played an important role in airing college enrollment gaps among whites, Africans. But that's the thing, again, they have to... They sit there talking about how great affirmative action is, and it's always, because of white people. And I've had this argument with people at work. It's about how, because white people tend to be rich and so on. Well, okay, so then that means that white guy's parents succeeded where mine failed. I'm not saying mine, are terrible, but Jesus. If the whole thing is to, save up money and give your kid a better life, and white families seem to do that, then that's kind of, what, congrats for them. That's what they did. They succeeded. If mine, in the eyes of these people, was so bad, they can't afford to send me to college and shit, then obviously in their eyes they're a failure. I don't, fine, you know what I mean? Me, it's like, okay, whatever, it was too expensive. I didn't bother. I didn't want to go for a Pell Grant either, because I find that shit, woe is me and my people and so on. Fuck that. Look at my pride. Oxford University extends exam times for women's benefit. Keep in mind, this is the one who are saying, this is for all those feminists out there who talk about how, women smarter than men and all this other crap. And there's a lot of things like a lot of people don't seem to take into account when it comes to this kind of stuff. Let's be honest. Because, think about it. You have a dude who more likely to go into engineering, genetic engineering maybe, just anything. Even welding. Shit like that. Some really hardcore crap. And let's say let's stick with engineering. And admittedly, I do know a female engineer. And that's one thing she was saying about, when you test something, you got to change one thing at a time, basically, to see what works and what, what won't, and all that. So, that's just something it's like kind of trial and error with engineering. And then you keep in mind of these test scores. That's going to be some pretty complex math, I would imagine. So you have somebody with doing some kind of complex math as to where women tend to go more towards... I know one who does creative writing or something. Creative writing or... what's the other one? Cultural anthropology and shit like that. I'm sorry, but of course you're going to be able to get a higher test score when you have freaking easier... You're studying something easier. But yet they still need more time. I'm not saying all women. I'm just saying, I guess a generalization, really. And that's probably more like the freaking feminists who take women's studies and so on. Who just want an easy, like the whole, I don't know, just some kind of weird history crap. I'm not saying history is not something you should learn, but Jesus. Anyway, let's go on. And this right here is just going on about, the affirmative actions historically is focused on the advantage given to those from some minority groups, but the research is no longer separate yet, not yet equal, may also be of particular, just basically about races and so on. So, like, for example, with whites, apparently they leave your test scores alone. Public institution on ACT scale of 36. With Hispanics, I think it's like that's kind of what you need. If I remember correctly, it's like, so like basically, yeah, it's okay, blacks, I think they automatically give you 310 points, I guess, on your score, scale of 160. I don't remember now. Hispanics 130, Asians they dock you a few, and all that. Let's see. The advantage referred to take the example from the book, and what is to take they have equivalent odds of the admission after controlling for the other factors. So the table figures of a 3.8 black ACT advantage means that the black student with the ACT score of 207 would have the same chance of admissions as the institute. At the institute in the study as the white student who scores 30. Okay, so 30.8. So yeah, I was right. They just kind of, bam, here you go. As the following table shows, there is large black advantage. The white colleges consider SAT and ACT scores And notable disadvantage for Asian applicants on issues of wealth and SAT shows an expect affirmative action tilt when the cost disadvantage is students gaining and the wealthiest losing. But there is also a gain for the upper middle class student on the ACT analysis found on the advantage to go to wealthier students. So what? I mean, okay, fine. That's I guess you can call that kind of unfair, but again, that guy's parents succeeded. They were able to hire him a tutor. Succeeded where the rest of ours failed. Even with affirmative action, blacks and Hispanics are more underrepresented at top colleges than 35 years ago. See, I love that. I mean, seriously, in a time, I can't say, 35 years ago things were like racist, but, from what I understand, the 80s weren't exactly like great, for minorities. And I don't know, I was a kid at the time. But anyway, college age population. Let's see, 7 points, 10 points, freshman enrollment. Okay, here's Hispanics plus 22. Oh, minus 9 points. Okay, so minus, I don't know what all this, but yeah. The Times analysis include 100 schools ranging from public flagships, the University of the Ivy League for both blacks and Hispanics. The trend extends blacks at least 1980, the earliest year of the fall enrollment. Data available from the National Center of Education Statistics. Okay, which represents more than 1,700 colleges and universities. That's not really what I care about. The Ivy League. Okay, so it's just, again, I guess we're dropping. Okay, 6 points, 7 points for blacks and Hispanics and blah, blah, blah. So it basically just where it's, okay, whites kind of go down, but Hispanics and all that kind of going up. Same thing, Columbia University, so on. Okay, so whatever, don't care. I wonder what the hell that was. Anyway, the condition of education, the National Center for Education Statistics between 2000 and 2015 total undergraduate enrollments and degree granting post-secondary institutes increased by 30% from 13.2 million to 17 million by 2026. Total undergraduate enrollment is projected to increase to 19.3 million students. So there we are, just the actual and projected undergraduate enrollment and degree graduate and post-secondary institutes by sex fall of 2000. From 2000, the estimated 2026. Male to female. Projected 11 to 8.3. Okay, so that's the actual. Actual and projected. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Alright, so yeah, they're expecting just more women graduates. Okay, so here we go, whites. Here we go, blacks, Hispanics, just below them. Asians, Pacific Islanders, here we go. American Indian, Alaska Natives. See, but I would also, this is also going by the number of population by race, too. I mean, come on. I mean, like I said, I know I'm kind of speeding through all this, but, like I said, you kind of get the point of what I'm doing here. Alright, full-time students, part-time students, projected. Private, non-profit, private, for-profit. Okay, I can see how for-profit would be too expensive. Non-profit, okay. But public, that's, I guess, yeah, whatever. Still quite a bit, Jesus. Graduate enrollment, projected. Okay, so it's just going on. Alright, yeah, I forgot. Okay, yeah, so just, more women graduate and all that than men, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of weird they have to do all kinds of weird stuff to cater towards them, such as giving high test scores. And, pushing for them to just all this crap about women. But anyway, here's one though. Often cited examples of race bias meritocracy are New York City's elite public schools, such as Stuyvesant High School, for which admissions is based solely on the standardized test. Stuyvesant is about 74% Asian, 18% white, 3% Hispanic, and 1% black, with 4% multicultural or multiracial, or other in California, where race-based affirmative action was eliminated in 1996. Admissions to the University of California at Berkeley is 42% Asian. So if I'm right, Asians make up about I think it was like 5% of the population. About 5% of the population, if I remember correctly, and they make up 42% of an entire university. That should tell you something about how intelligent they are and how much they study and how much they try, how hard they try. So why are we gonna punish them for trying hard because they actually stick to what they want, because they work for it? I mean, I'm not a I don't want to really call myself a conservative, but I guess in this that way I will. And the fact that if they worked for it, they earned it. Therefore it should be theirs. That's just the way it is. That's how I see it. You worked for it, you earned it, it's yours. None of this stupid crap because this person is like an Asian, I believe. Yeah, whatever. Let's find out. White students unfair advantage in admissions. How is this? Yeah, as a Chinese American, so okay. Again, I don't see this crap. Whites 270 points higher than Hispanics, 450 points higher than blacks. I mean, again, here's the thing: she's blaming it on white people, but she's sitting there saying that yeah, we have to make higher scores than Hispanics, and we got to make higher scores than black people because of the unfair advantage. And in here, she even says that Asians don't like people like me for that reason. So I mean, this is kind of us versus. This kind of forces a us versus them mentality. Anyway, let's go on. Campus diversity suffers under race-blind policies. And one of the reasons I want to put this around the end is because Fox News. I'm sorry, I'm more right-leaning, but someone right-leaning quoting Fox News is like someone left-leaning quoting MSNBC. You need some seriously unbiased sources for that to even take part in the conversation. Or at least just being like, hey, these guys are also saying it kind of deal. I don't know how to put it. Like, I hope everyone understands who's seeing this, but you get what I mean. But, yeah. I mean, let's see. Should college consider a student race when they decide who gets in and who doesn't? No. With the emphatic no. Okay, they made California the first state to ban the use of race and ethnicity in the public university admissions, as well as hiring and contracting. Since then, California's most selective public colleges and graduate schools have struggled to assemble students' bodies that reflect the state's demographic mix. Again, that's on us. I'm sorry. I'm not blaming the white people for that. Damn whitey for being more intelligent than me. I'm sorry. I mean, it's more offensive for me to be mad and sit there and acknowledge a group of people as more intelligent than me by race than it is by saying try harder. You know what I mean? That's like when people get mad at games for being too hard because they rather the game be easier than just fucking getting good at it. Like when people were mad about Cuphead, saying about how, oh, true gamers want a game that's, easy or whatever the hell, that way everyone can play. No. It's the whole get good. Just GITGUD. Jesus. It's not rocket surgery. And right here, this model, for instance, and this is just when they did a bunch of studies, like, to see, like, playing, like, some they'll allow for race and so on. But this model, for instance, pays no heed to the debate team, the football team, or the need to get certain numbers of likely classic majors to fill a tenured classic professors' classes. The admission procedures based purely on test scores increase white dominance at selective colleges and reduces access for African Americans and Hispanics at the same time. The abuse of a pure test-based merit approach shifts the elite colleges' enrollments in the middle SES tiers, but has no effect on the top or bottom SES quarterlines in this pure merit-based model. The average SAT ACT score on the math and verbal sections increased from the current 1,230 to 1,362 are simulations of pure test-based merit. Increase white students' enrollment shares from the current level of 74 to 83%. Reduce the African American share from the current level of 4% to 1%. Reduce the Hispanic share from the current level of 7% to 4%. Decrease the Asian share from the current level of 15% to 12%. Held at the bottom of the SES quarter consistent of 5%, and increase the average test scores of the current level of 1,200 to 1,362. Now let me say this real quick. I can see the Asian one going down because of something. Because when they said, where is it? The verbal one, test scores increased. Classic majors fell turned classic professors. Dominance reduced Asian. Where is it? Where is it? I could have sworn. Yeah, I know I read it out loud too. So anyways, it was like that and it was math and verbal. Yeah, okay, here we are, verbal section. So keep in mind, you're gonna have a group of people whose second language is English. You know, hell, perhaps even their third language if you think about it. Because yes, I'm not saying yes, English is a popular language around the world, or to learn around the world. But keep in mind, there's other countries next to them. I talked to a girl from Laos, and she learned Thai before she learned English, because Thailand was right there. So basically, English is her third language. So yes, I can imagine her getting a lower verbal test score on her, her test score on the verbal section of her test. So I can see how that would go from 15 to 12%. And that's not bashing a group of people. That's just simply saying, odds are this person knows 3 languages, so odds are they're gonna have a hard time, deciphering. Because for those of you who don't know, if you look up Japanese words and then Korean and then English, there's actually a few words, and I forget the Korean ones, but like I know, haha, so on have actual meanings in Japanese, and I forget the ones that were in Korean that seem English, but they have meanings in Korean, but they're pretty much spelled like any English word. So yeah, I can see this being difficult, especially if you know more than one language. Anyway, let's hop onto this. Race gap narrows in college enrollment, but not in graduation. So then what? We're supposed to make, classes easier for people? By definition, the race-based admissions are only an issue in selective schools, which account for about a quarter of undergraduate enrollment, but the racial gap in higher education goes far beyond those elite schools. Indeed, blacks and Latinos lose ground at every step of the educational process. They are less likely to finish high school, less likely to attend college, and less likely to graduate when they get there. Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, they are less likely to finish high school. And whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Is that, that's obviously on the white man, right? That's obviously we need the government to come in here and step it up, To, hey, don't worry, you little dumb minority. We're gonna take care of that for you. We'll stop the evil white man from, doing what from having a meritocratic system where it's all your fault, or it's their fault that you can't focus in high school. It's their fault you can't get the grades. No, fuck that. Okay, all of that adds up to the big gap in the number of ultimately matters most educational attainment and the amount of school a person completes. In 2013, about 40% of the whites between ages of 25 to 29 had a bachelor's degree or more, compared to about 20% of blacks, 15% of Hispanics, and 58% of Asians. Again, Asians are the biggest minorities in the U.S., and they are 58%. According to data from current population survey, the gap hasn't narrowed significantly in recent years. Okay, so the group of people who are like about roughly 5% are 58% of the graduates. Mexicans, we fucking breed like rabbits, and we're only at 15%. Blacks, who are the second lowest, are 5% points higher than us. I mean, this means we're off to. This honestly means 15% tells me that we're too busy off, fucking getting our bottles of wine, playing some Marvin Gaye, and fucking the world's coming to an end to really be able to do our shit. If a population that's like 12 to 13% of the people is able to still have higher percent graduation. Now, white people, maybe, with the stop with the fucking drinking and partying and so on, where, because I think it's like 60 to 74%, 64 to 74% of the population is white, and yet only 40% of the whites, white people are graduating. There's got to be something there. I'm not sitting here saying that white people are perfect. I know you're fucking flaws too, don't get me wrong. But holy shit. when 5% of the population is outperforming everyone. That kind of says something about the rest. Why should any group of people, why should the whites or the Asians be punished for that? For being better. You don't punish someone for being better. I'm sorry. That is like the reverse of Darwinism. That is like simply saying that, the retarded guy should, have his life spared, and these fucking Albert Einstein should sacrifice his life for that retard. I'm sorry. That right there is just bullshit. Recent high school graduate attended 2-year and 4-year college. Whites, blacks. Again, that's not the white people's fault. Fuck. Oh, here we go, the Pell Grant. Federal student aid program for low-income students graduating with 6 years or higher graduate rate than in both blacks and Latinos. This is far from the comparative... Wait, so white people can't get it? Income gap in graduation rates, but the racial gap is bigger according to Educational Department data. 47% of the... Okay, so it's going on about, I guess, just, income and all that. 52% of graduates from low-income families by comparison, just under 70% of white high school graduates go by college versus 65% of blacks. Moreover, the racial gap is generally narrowed over time. The income gap has not. Okay, so yeah, income gap. So again, Pell Grant. Okay, so yeah, I guess. Oh man. Okay, I guess my parents weren't exactly equipped to help me go to college. 69% of Asians who entered 4-year college in 1996 had a bachelor's degree 6 years later, compared to 39% of blacks and 46% of Hispanics, according to the Department of Education data. So a decade later, whites and Hispanics had made a bit of progress, and blacks hardly any at all. Oh, for fuck's sakes! Again, with diversity thing, they haven't made that much progress, but yet it's the white man. Recent data revealed 62% of whites not got a degree within 6 years versus 40% of blacks and 51% of Hispanics. So that's what I love. You put people on an equal playing field, and you do what you can, and yet somehow it's still racist, or there's still something. It's okay, so it's maybe not the race, but it's the money. You can't do anything about that, not really. I mean, unless you put us into a fucking communist, socialist, or a communist society, no one's gonna have the equal poverty, or I say poverty line, beyond the equal poverty line. I don't know what the other word would be. Income. Sorry guys. Anyway, now. Bonus round, because I did all this thing with college and all that, and I don't know. I might do another separate video if I can find more data. However, presto! Blind recruitment trial to boost gender equality, making things worse, study reveals. So again, blind recruitment for, hiring and stuff for women, or where you can't tell if someone's a woman or not. Turns out, less women get hired. They hit pause on blind recruitment trials, which many believe would increase the number of women in senior positions. Blind recruitment means the recruiters cannot tell the gender of the candidate because those details are removed from applications. It is seen as an alternative to gender quotas and has also been embraced by Deloitte, Ernst and Young, I don't know, Victoria Police and Westpac Bank. In a bid to eliminate sexism, thousands of public servants have been told to pick recruits who have had all the mentions of their gender and ethnic background stripped from their CVs. The assumption behind the trial that the management will hire more women when they can only consider the professional merits of candidates. The choices have been monitored by behavioral economists and the Prime Minister's Department, colloquially known as the Nudge Unit. First, Michael Hiscox, the Harvard academic who oversaw the trial, said he was shocked by the result and had urged caution. We anticipated this would have a positive impact on diversity, making it more likely that female candidates and those from ethnic minorities are selected for the shortlist, he said. We found the opposite, that de-identify the candidates reduced the likelihood of women being selected for the shortlist. The trial found assignments of male names and candidates made them 3 3.2% less likely to get the job interview. Adding women's name to CV made the candidate 2.9% more likely to get the foot in the door. We should hit pause and be very cautious about introducing this as a way to improving diversity, as it can have the opposite effect, Professor Hiscock said. The landmark study throws about down the several trials launched by state governments' individual department last year. The Australian Bureau of Statistics doubled the proportions of female bosses by using blind recruitment. Professor Hiscock said he discovered that the trial with the ABS or ABS, whatever, did not consider or its rigorous or randomized control trial, warning against any magic pill solution. See, but I don't know. Okay, so they statistically doubled their proportion of female bosses by using blind recruitment. So I don't know. So apparently, I mean, I guess female bosses, because I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying women are like men can be very intelligent. Granted, they have somewhat of an education. They know what the hell it is they're doing. They have common sense and so on. I can see that. I can see this. I can see some women more women being a little bit more, I don't know about cutthroat, but more of like kind of wanting to get things done, to where they can most likely, they have ability to have more than be hired as bosses. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. But that was just like one so far. And this is also just one from what I understand. Okay, yeah. They had no idea. Anyway, gender blind hiring in Australia reduces diversity. The Australia started a new program in which candidates for jobs had their names and anything that would indicate their gender removed from their CV in order to give women a better chance of being hired. Things didn't turn out that way. The SJWs thought they would. Okay, so this is obviously, I would say this is definitely more of a biased source, but however, this one may not be. This is one of the reasons why I want to use two of these. And it's basically just that same study from what I understand. However, I have read a study, I probably should have looked for it, but there was one that was saying that by doing the blind study like this, women are more likely to get an interview. And this one just kind of talks about that with the bosses. But I remember the other one was pretty left-leaning and all that. It was because I forget. At least the one I read, there's probably one out there that isn't, or more out there that aren't. I don't remember now. Like I said, it took me quite a while to get all this together. So anyway, yeah, I'll just kind of stick it here. Anyway, so tell me what you guys think. Do you like this? What you think? Give me any ideas. Like I said before, I'm kind of lowering down on all these because I do want to stick to being as factual as I can. I don't want things to be kind of biased, or I want to keep from being biased. And honestly, sticking my opinion in things is obviously going to be a bit biased. So something like this where I'm using, some government or EDU or education websites and a bunch of other random ones. And ones that are, well, like I said, from Oxford, I think it's Oxford University? Okay, the Telegraph and all that, which is a bit more left-leaning and so on. What is this? The New York Times, Fox, I'll say. And okay, see here we go, .gov and all that. I already did that one. The Inside here, I don't know what the hell that even is. And The Hill. I don't even know what the hell The Hill is, in all honesty, guys. That could be left or right leaning. But at least I'm saying, here we go. Here's one that's, prospect.org, but race blind admissions are affirmative actions for whites. But again, it's still a left-leaning thing, admitting that they have to do all kinds of crap to help out minorities. And that's still not enough. Again, the College of Peerless Asian. And this is from the Boston Globe. Okay, I was like, wait, is it? I saw the B and I was like, oh, wait, Breitbart? I can't exactly call it unbiased. And New York Magazine, I guess? I don't know. But still. So anyway, tell me what you guys think. Agree, or if you don't agree with me, so on. Did I miss any sources or anything else I probably could have brought up in here to keep this pretty unbiased? Uh, anyway, I just want to know what everyone thinks, what you have to say. Uh, I guess that's about it for now. You guys take care. I wish y'all the best. Um, yeah, things have been getting kind of hard on all this. So it's getting less and less views and stuff. And wow, this is a 30-minute video. I'm going to end it. I'll see you guys. Take care.